Today we're doing something a little bit on the different side. I have to do a presentation on tomorrow, and because of that, I need to study, and I have been studying. So one of the things we're going to do is um, I'm going to make a quick video. This is a very short presentation. I am not apologizing for the wrinkly shirt that I put on or the little bit of chest hair that is showing. You had the opportunity to click away 6 seconds ago, and since most people only watch my videos for about 6 seconds, you're already gone. So just let everybody know, especially if you are a previous coworker or a current coworker or you know me, this is not mockery. This is basically how I mess around with trying to iron out the kinks of the stuff that we're doing for this presentation. And that's me using an iron because I'm ironing my hand. Okay, so this is the Spencer family. Nothing that I tell you in here is actually going to be giving up intellectual property. Yes, this is social service work, but it's only for very specific social service workers in a specific state. And the information that I'm going to put here, I can even show you, you can't use it. Now, to let you know, we use a training database. Is that proprietary? No. That's the knowledge of knowing that we have a sandbox. We can basically sit there and make fake cases all day just to see how it's going to run through the system. That's what we train on. The stuff that I'm telling you right now is what they don't tell you in high school. That there's jobs like this here where people will have to just do presentations, sometimes all day, especially during the pandemic. Now, the way this goes is I'm supposed to give out the scenario, and the scenario is this here. The fake person named Spencer is 2 months behind in arrears. 2 months. If you don't know what arrears means, I didn't know what it meant until I came to New York. That's an interesting thing. I did not know what arrears meant until I came to New York. That is so interesting. But anyway, they're 2 months in arrears. Arrears means you are behind in some type of payment. Arrears could be being behind on a car payment, but in this particular case, this is all about being behind 2 months rent. And what's going to happen is this family is going to get emergency aid for families. Now, the specific place that I work for, we can use the acronym because I already told you what the acronym means. It means EAF. Basically, it's an emergency for the family. Now, I'm going to have to explain it to the crowd of people that are tuning in to whatever, however I connect to people. That's what I got to explain to them. Give them the breakdown. Here's the company that we need to give the money to. Here is their situation. And one of the first things we do is if we have a bad person that literally hops up and says, well, I wouldn't do that in my county, and why didn't they come to us earlier? We are not about policy. We're about the system and showing you how to use the system. We're giving you the wheels and steering wheel on how to drive the vehicle. Okay? How to drive that vehicle. We're not showing or changing you any of your policies. Now, I got to try to say that nicely again, in case they didn't figure it out the first 3 or 4 times we did stuff. But I got to say that again. We don't dictate policy. It's not our job. Systems. So, at this point, we give them the breakdown and we let them know that, hey, this is the situation. I'm kind of going backwards a little bit here. And then I ask them, the people, which tabs do I need to go to? Which one of these tabs do I need to go to? And they, if they are paying attention and not sitting around sipping tea, they should tell me. They should say, I need to go to the summary tab and also the individuals tab. And then somebody's going to say, we need to go to the payment and budget tab too. And then somebody's going to say, well, what about the forms and notices? We have to do a forms and notices. What about the 4403? You know, I'm just throwing out acronyms. You don't know what I'm talking about, don't worry about it. If you're a former coworker, you should be enjoying this. And then lastly, we go back to the summary tab. Because the first tab you see is the last tab you see. It's not because I like Phil Collins songs. I'm not saying that because of that. Wait, can you see my face? There we go, I'm bringing it up a little bit here. Can you see my face? There you go. I'm not saying this because of Phil Collins. I am saying this because the summary tab happens to be the same tab that you have to go to when you first get there. And it's also the last tab because that's where the submit button is to finish the application. And that's what we're doing here, people. If you're the janitor and you're watching this presentation, you need to be gone. There's no reason. Look, there are counties where I felt like we trained the janitor at some point, Rochester. And I'm not going to say anything else bad about that except for the janitor now knows how to complete a case. Why don't you? Okay, so that was literally the first page. Now, I can't wrinkle this up too much because I'm in the process of making a notebook. Don't tell my boss, but I'm in the process of making a notebook where everything is going to be in there because apparently this is something we're going to be doing often. Not every once in a blue moon anymore. We're going to be doing this like the weekend said, often. Anyway, and one of the reasons why I'm making this video is because, A, I have lots of time and space to put it on YouTube. B, if I make a video of it, I can go back and watch it again to familiarize myself with this here and be better at it. The more times you do it, the better off you are. Because training, humans learn through repetition. Did I ever tell you that humans learn through repetition? I don't know if I said this already, but this is a bell pepper and that's a pepper. And that's a different plant. I don't think you can really see the other plant that much. Oh yeah, you can clearly see the other plant. Anyway, I gotta find the other one. It's around here somewhere. I hope I didn't leave it out. It doesn't matter. The very first thing you're gonna do here is very unusual. This is an unusual case to work with. And this is one of the reasons why the last time I did it was the first time I did it. But the last time I did it, it was awkward because I had never done it before. It's one of those very unusual things. Here, we gotta go to the forms and notices. And again, I gotta tell people, look, we're in the training database. This is our sandbox. It is not connected to the real world. And because it's not connected to the real world, we can't demonstrate every little thing on here. So use your imagination, use what you already know. You know what a 40 You know what a 4403 is. So after we've got the case open, we've already, it's actually the application is not a case. First thing we do is we go to the forms and notices. We tell them, do not change your policy. Do your 4403, okay? You got to do your 4403, do your 4403. Once you do your 4403, don't worry, because you did it, it will actually go to the imaging system. I didn't even give you the name of the imaging system, but it'll go to the imaging system. Also, it needs to go to wherever else policy says you need to put it. So you do your job, you know, the policy part here, and then the imaging part, it already goes there automatically. Do you have to do anything? No. You don't have to do anything special, just do the 4403. Don't give me no crap about policy. And the reason we're doing this is because this family has an immediate need. Okay, so the next thing we do is we go back to the summary tab. That's where I screwed up last time, okay? That's where I screwed up. I need to go, oh, I see the Amazon truck. I got something coming to the house today. So once we're back on the summary, we stop. Again, this is so very unusual. We need to change this from one case type to the other case type. The case type is going to be EAF. Weird, I know. I got to save this page. Did you know you can save the page by clicking Alt-S on your keyboard? You see that? See how my finger just went Alt-S on your keyboard? That's where it is. It's right next to your space. Look down on your keyboard. You can see a space bar, and then there's an Alt button right next to it. So it's Alt S as in Sam. Now, that's the very first thing you're gonna do. Now I know if I've sat there with you or been online with you, and all of a sudden I said, "Hey, you don't have to do anything on the summary tab." With this particular case, you got to do it, because if you don't do it, you're gonna get screwed. You can fix it at the end, but that's besides the point. The next step is going to be step number 3. We need to go to individuals. The reason we need to go to individuals is because we need to add these clients. Because this is a person that's not actually known to our system. They're not known to our system because this family has never needed needs. But, and this is kind of a policy thing and accounting thing here. They came to us because they needed help. If we give them this one-time help, they will turn around and no longer need any more help. In other words, we're trying to divert them from being in the system, because if they lose their apartment, because they're 3 months in arrears, if they lose their apartment, they're getting kicked out on the streets. Then we gotta get housing for them, and then we get SNAP for them and everything. They're not even asking for SNAP. They're not asking for SNAP. What they're asking for is temporary assistance. Some people call it PA, or public assistance for PA. TA is temporary assistance. So they need temporary assistance. So you go through all the coding. This takes some time because we do have 3 people in the household. We got what looks like, I have to make some adjustment to this here, because it's supposed to be, originally we did this here for a father and his 2 daughters, I believe. But then we had to change it to, who is texting me? Oh, yeah, screw those guys. But then we had to text it. We had to change the text to husband, wife, kid. So some of my coding here is slightly off, and that's totally fine. I'll make another page 5 for that. And again, I'm going to have to, once I put in that information, the core information, I'm going to have to do a clearance report. Do not talk to me about clearance reports. There is no way in the world you can be doing this here without knowing what a clearance report is by now. This system's been around since 2006. I got to stop yelling outside because I don't want to lose my voice on tomorrow. So the reason, because some person is going to ask, well, why do we need to do a clearance report? I have one right here in my hand. You need to do a clearance report because the original system that was made in 1970-something literally does a secret one in the background, okay? We don't care about secrets. Everything is open. Transparency, people. Like my shirt right now, transparency. You can actually see my hair. I'm not going to zoom in. I probably should, but I'm not going to do that. Now, the weird thing is, while we're here, the system that I'm referring to, there was a screenshots. You can't see it. There's not enough detail there. Forces you via policy to go on ahead and do one up front. Even if you process this entire freaking case, because you changed the demographic information, it's going to say, I need a clearance report done so that I can see it myself. Because the newer system, I like to refer to it as the son, is always asking the father for permission. Father, can I do this? Father, can I do that? If you've used the system before, you probably never thought about it that way, and it's a unique way of thinking, because the new system constantly has to go back to verify with the old system, meaning it's acting like a father-son, where they're asking whether the son is asking permission. So anyway, we do all that stuff there. And who gets the card? Who gets the card? Father, father. The father is going to get the card. He's the only person we're going to put yes on to get the actual card for any kind of benefits or whatever. That's a system thing from the 70s. It's because originally this whole thing was made for SNAP. Let me do it again. SNAP. And there's a lot of things where some of the coding is just old school coding for coding's sake. Now the next thing, this is another part where we trip up. This is step number 4, which rhymes with Zsa Zsa Gabor. You don't do a budget. You do not do a budget here. It's one of the stupidest things I've ever seen about this thing. You don't do a budget. Instead, what you do is you just write the pay line. Now, for those who actually work and do this here, a pay line is pretty much like, it's like the recipe. Now, the budget is saying, this is what you're going to get. But the instructions of how you're going to get it, the monies, is with the pay line. And once that pay line is written, it'll go as long as it needs to go. That's a unique feature, because here we don't do a budget because they are in arrears. We don't want them to actually be in our system forever. We're not going to give them a budget so they can keep doing this here and keep getting this X amount of money for eternity. We're just saying, today we're going to give you this amount of money to get you out of arrears so that hopefully you never come back again. It's just that simple. Now, the next thing is, we're doing the pay line. After we do the pay line, what I want you to do, Mr. Gamble, is hit Alt-S. And also remind the people, if you hit Alt-S on your keyboard, you'll save the page, and you don't have to hit the save button at the bottom of the page. You can just save the page even if you're at the top of the page. You just hit Alt-S on your keyboard. If nothing else that you learn from this entire session is Alt-S will save the page. It'll also update the information that's on that page. And like I said, this is a very quick case here. So the next thing is, we're done. We didn't have to do a budget. We had to do a pay line. That's it. We put their info in there. We did the pay line. And now we're going to wrap it all up. Remember that whole thing about Phil Collins? Me saying, hey, first thing you see is the last thing you see? Guess where we're going, people? Step number 5 is all about going to the summary tab. So we go to the summary tab. And I'm going to give you the actual codes here, because it's not going to mean anything to you, and you can't use those codes. Transaction type 09, because this is an open close. It's open close because we're opening it for this one specific reason, and then we're going to close it because they're no longer going to get any more money from us. So for those idiots out there that always say, oh, people who are on food stamps are getting blah, blah, blah. Oh, people on food stamps are getting blah, 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 blah. Well, first of all, it's called SNAP now. That's number 1. Whoa, that's a B. He's looking for a home. Do not find my deck as a home. My deck is not a home. That's the same one I saw earlier. Damn it. Anyway, 09, open, close. The person, the family, they get this here and they're cut off. We're going to have to put an X over in the emergency corner over here. And the reason we need to do that is because this is an emergency. It is an immediate need, again, to keep them out of arrears. I already told you what the word arrears mean. Interesting. The next one, the reason code. We're using a 005. Now, I don't know if you know this here, but when it comes to 007, there are actually other 00s. And one of the things that I learned was there's 003 and 5 were the reason why 007 ended up being used in one particular movie, because the other 00s were busy or they were doing other things. And I was like, oh, there's more 00s. It's more than just 007. There's 003, 4, 5, 6, and so forth. That's impressive. And the reason why, and I think it's safe to give you the reason why, because this actually has an explanation. Loss of reduction in earning due to, I'm reading this horrible here, because it's coding. Okay, basically it breaks down to loss of or reduction in earning due to layoff, discharge, or other reasons. And then it gives you the list of codes you can actually use. Like these particular case types are A-OK to use this with. So I'm happy that they actually put the case types that you can actually use this with, because this, again, is not something we're doing all the time. Not we. The county people are doing all the time. Basically, this is a rare situation where they need to come in and do something. So yeah, we're using the 005 code on this here. That's at the top of the page. I have to make sure that I put in the actual case number. In this particular case, I'm gonna do the thing that my coworker likes. He just wants to reuse the specific number, bring it on down, use that as the case number, and then put EAF in it. Now, the whole EAF thing, that's our fake county doing our fake way of doing this here. It does not dictate your policy and your county. Okay? That's how we name stuff. And just to be on the safe side, I've actually seen some counties put in FS for SNAP, and some counties put F for SNAP cases when they're doing their case numbers. It's really interesting how they have some free will on how they want to name things in this particular state. I don't know how my actual real state from a million years ago does it, because I've never worked in my state like this. If only there was a job like this where I lived originally. And then I'm going to bounce down to the bottom of the page, and I'm going to put in my authorization periods. The authorization periods are very different, again, from most authorization pages, basically because I have to put in today's date. Other things that I did forget about, nope, I did not forget anything. That's it. And the reason why we're using today's date is because this is an open and close. I think Jay-Z said grand opening, grand closing. That's it. That's the end of this case. After this here is done, I turn around and I ask the people, y'all got any questions about this chick? And they're going to say, nope, I ain't got no questions, man. And then I'm going to make sure I do this here in the microphone so they can hear me rattling or mixing up some drink. You know what I'm saying? They think I'm drinking alcohol. I'm just drinking sweet tea. I might have to do my part-time job after this here. There's no reason for me to start drinking in the middle of the day. I don't have enough time to drink in the middle of the day. I wish I had more time. Okay. I can't get these wet. I will remember to go in and revisit step number 3, because there was a change. It is now a father, husband, and one child, as opposed to one parent and 2 kids. So that's what I got to do tomorrow. It's supposed to take about 10 minutes. Now, take in mind that I did repeat a whole bunch of things, like saying, click on Alt-S to save the page. I did that. I did. That's totally fine. And I do mean Alt-S, not Control-S. It's Alt-S. But we basically walked them through how to do a particular case. We do this in 4 different circumstances, and then that's about it. And that's my job for the day. If everything goes smoothly, with a handful of questions here and there, I'll be done. Oh, the sun is gone. I'll be gone and done by 2:30, maybe 3 o'clock. Started at 9 o'clock, so 9 to 3, that's really not bad hours. And what's going to be? Oh, that's a full hour for lunch. I love lunch. You know what I do during lunch? I will get up, and if it's a really stressful day, I'll walk around the house. Just walk around the house. If it's a really nice day, and it's not anything crazy going on, I might make myself some tea. 9 times out of 10, I take a shower at what do you call it? At noon. That is a relaxer. You just hop in the shower and it feels so comforting. And you're relaxed and refreshed for the rest of the day. So yeah, that's pretty much what I do. Might make myself a sandwich. Sometimes I have enough time to make myself some ramen noodles. I chop up some chicken, or I got some pork in the refrigerator right now, so I'm going to chop up some pork, throw it in there, throw some onions. I don't have enough green stuff right now because these guys aren't developed yet, but I do see a little flower right here. That's the end of this video, people. I'm just yapping at this point. I'm going to upload this here raw as is. Again, this is not mockery whatsoever, no matter what you think of, okay? No matter what you think, this is not mockery or anything like that.